Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 11th of March 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to the Supreme Parabrahma Paramatma residing everywhere at all times in all beings. We're continuing to examine Advaita Vedanta in the current series, and we will be doing that. Our morning satsang is 90% focused on Advaita Vedanta. To continue some of the concepts further and ideas, it's all the same thing, whether it is from Vivek Chudamani, whether it is from the Gita, whether it is from the Upanishads, or any of the other many texts and commentaries written on Advaita. The truth is only one, that Brahman is Satya. The word Brahman comes again and again and again in all the Sanatana Dharma scriptures, all the commentaries of everyone, all acharyas. Brahman or Akshara, and then these are other ways to describe it. So today we are going to look at this just in with another angle, that the assertion that Brahman or Akshara-Brahma remains uncaused highlights its ontological independence from the causal nexus that governs the created realm. I'll explain that sentence. I know it's a heavy sentence. I'm actually working on another one of these big research books, on the Vedas of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. Bhagwan Swaminarayan उन्होंने गुजराती में पत्र लिखे थे. For उनके जो संत थे, उनके लिए special पत्र लिखे थे. These are letters. And then that got combined into a scripture called Vedas, वेदों का रहस्य, उपनिषदों का रहस्य. गुजराती में है. तो इसका analysis through using multiple AIs and various tools and whatnot, I'm working on that. The first 16 lines of Shri Vedas in Gujarati are being analyzed here. It's taken me a couple of months to do this. Now it's getting faster because of some of the newer AI tools and all that. But it's quite remarkable and good. Multiple volumes. My plan is to create 3 800-page books on just the first 16 lines. I've already got 834 pages done, through the various AIs on the first 16 lines only. Which shows its power. कि इसमें क्या ताकत है वो बाहर निकालनी है. Reason I'm just putting it here in my recording also, so people are aware of that. You will see this is just one line from that book. Listen to this. The assertion that Akshara-Brahma or Akshara-Dham remains uncaused highlights its ontological independence from the causal nexus that governs the created realm. Let's break it down to understand this. This is just only one line. There are hundreds and hundreds of lines like this. Amazing. I want to put something out there by the grace of God, something extraordinary for many generations, बाकी तो सब चलता है जीवन में, भगवान की जैसी मर्जी. Now let's try to understand this. What is the created realm? Universes, galaxies upon galaxies. We see this now through the telescopes. कितने galaxy clusters upon clusters. Even space, Akash, is created. Vedanta says that Akash is created. Garada Pratham 47, Akashni Utpatti and Lay. That Vachanamrut is beyond all that is known in physics. Think about that. Everything that even the subatomic particles and the highest levels of physics is still nothing compared to that 2 paragraphs in that one Vachanamrut, which is extracted from hundreds of Upanishads in so many places. It's just incredible that even space and time are created, and there is another kind of space called Chidakash, the conscious space. Within that, billions of universes exist, infinite universes exist. That is called the ultimate ground, or Swayambhu, to be uncaused. Uncaused means that it is self-existent, self-originated. It is not caused by anything. The Brahman doesn't have any cause. It is existing in and of itself without requiring any prior cause or condition for its being. It is the ultimate ground of reality. So Akshar-Brahma or Chidakash, these are different words. Chidakash means the conscious, Chit plus Akash. It is the consciousness that is in the form of that infinite space, not this outer space, another kind of space, within which billions of universes exist. That is the creation. So that creation, that is the created realm. So the assertion that Akshara-Brahma remains uncaused, meaning it doesn't have any cause, it's eternally existing, it is Sanatana. This is where the word Sanatana Dharma comes from this idea. Sanatan means eternally existing. Well, what is it that is eternally existing? Are we saying that Hinduism, this is a nonsense word. This ism, there's no ism. This Westerns, certain scholars or whoever they were, they gave these words to this tradition. It's not an ism. Where did this nonsense come from? There's no ism in this. Ism means one tightly bound doctrine. That's not the case. Ridiculous. Totally wrong shabda hai. Hindu shabda bhi wrong shabda. There's no such thing as Hindu. There's no word like that in any shastra anywhere. And then people are using that and creating conflicts and boundaries and all. Total false vastu aa gayi hai. Totally false. The word that is used is Brahman, which means infinite, unending reality, and it is the ground of all existence. Think about this. This is the rishis they have discovered. They have tapped into that dimension. So the assertion that Brahman remains uncaused. Uncaused means that there is no cause of that ultimate reality. Cause and effect are within space and time. Karya Karana Sambandha. Vedant mein batate. Karya Karana Sambandha. Everything we see in the universe itself is a certain cause. It is called Brahmand, the egg. It's like an egg that is born. The analogy of the egg is there. Anda means egg. Brahmand means that from the Brahman, these universes are born. They come and go. They're like flickering lights. They're like bubbles. Bubbles is born and bubble goes away. Bubble comes and bubble goes away. This is what the rishis saw. हमारी बुद्धि भी नहीं चल सकती इसमें. किसकी बुद्धि चलेगी? But in dhyan, isko batate hai kya? I'll try to speak in Hindi because people understand that. इसमें क्या बताते हैं कि ध्यान और समाधि में आप क्या देख सकते हैं? निर्विकल्प समाधि. When you go into निर्विकल्प समाधि, time stops. Time का function ही नहीं है. Not like this kind. And as you go higher in the chakras, as the sadhak goes further, time slows down. इसीलिए जो कहते हैं ना कि ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव. Brahma lives 100 years, not our 100 years. His 1 second is our 660 years. Something like that, 600 plus years. 1 second, he opens his eyes one time, 600 years go by. He closes his eyes, 600 years go by. Opens his eyes. He's a divine being. It's a being that we cannot imagine. Lives in Satyalok. Unka lok kahan hai, wo bhi research hua hai. That to discover where he's living. So, I'll give you an example. This is where the Upanishad says Omkar ka dhyan. जो ऋषि मुनि ओमकार का ध्यान करते हैं, you go into Om Dhyan, mind is clear, mind, body, everything is in sync, and sadhana begins, and it takes hold, and you're sitting in intense meditation for hours and hours and hours. This is how they did it at that time, and in doing this Omkar Dhyan, they can enter into these different realms outside the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. They break through. It is a breakage out of those three. And they begin to realize, Swayam, who am I? They begin to see the Atma Tattva, begin to see all these different lokas, begin to see Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv. This is not some imaginary thing. Ye imaginary baat nahi hai. It's not just symbolic or metaphorical or anthropological. Those are just our human intellect level only. This is called अनुभव की स्थिति है ये. इसमें सब दिखता है. You can see that and actually wind up going over there too. स्वर्ग के जो सब लोक है, स्वर्ग लोकस, they're there. नारायण का जप करेंगे, ओम नमो नारायणाय. If you start becoming if the mantra becomes siddha, or comes to it, once you start approaching the siddha state of the mantra, all of these lokas appear. Problem kya hai? In our lives, our mind is going in 1,000 other directions with काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मत्सर. इसमें से निकलता ही नहीं मन. It comes back again and again and again and again. Saintliness is not there. The right kind of internal purification is not there. That's why this thing is not seen. That's why we are only stuck. Human beings are stuck inside the Jagrat Swapna Sushupti Avastha only. Jagrat Swapna Sushupti Avastha can be cleaned up. Cleaning, we use this expression, let's clean up our life. What does that mean? It means clean up the waking state. This is what Vedanta is teaching. And in Vedras, ये जो Vedras की में the बात हम करते हैं, I've started making the recordings in Gujarati, and some of you who know Gujarati, you can listen. There's actually a couple of people from India who have been listening to those Gujarati. Those are very much in depth, right? So they are probably quite advanced than Sachin. Sachin is just an ordinary sadh. They must be very advanced to enjoy those things. But इसमें मुक्त की, जीवन मुक्ति की व्याख्या की है in the 4th or 5th line only. जीवन मुक्त क्या है? वो स्वतंत्र हो गए जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति में. Can you imagine this? In the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state, the Jivan Mukta is freely swimming in those 3 states. Incredible. Is it possible that this kind of possibility is there? Sure. Absolutely. One becomes, how it is like, it's like a lion walking in a jungle. A Jivan Mukta is like a lion walking in a jungle. There's nobody that can stand next to that person even in terms of any comparison. When the lion is there, everybody is bowing down at that point. ऐसी स्थिति है. It's not अहंकार की बात नहीं. उनकी शक्ति, उनकी स्थिति ऐसी है. They're freed completely. हमारी ये जो सनातन संस्कृति में जो बड़े संत, बहुत बड़े संत होते हैं, उनके दर्शन से ही लोग, people are bowing down and prostrating to them. That's the lion. That is the Siha. That is why the Durga Devi, she sits on the Siha Vahini. She sits on the lion. This is why. This is one of the reasons why. It's so extraordinary. The total freedom in waking state. Think about this, what this is, to realize this ontological independence as the causal nexus that governs the created realm. This one line, इस एक line में कितना भरचक ज्ञान है. In one line only. Ontological independence of Brahman, meaning it is independent of everything that is created. Meaning ontology means being, the study of being in philosophy. It is totally independent of all of the creation. This is one aspect of Brahman. And it is independent from the causal nexus that governs the created realm. Causal nexus means what? One thing causes another, something causes another. These nexus means, the word nexus means these connecting points, like 15 actions connect into one point, like that. That's called a nexus. It's a massive causal nexus. We cannot imagine. It is impossible to even imagine. That's what science is trying to figure out. This causal nexus. If you take those 2 words, causal nexus, पूरा scientific endeavor आ गया है इसमें. Just in those 2 words. And ontologically, Brahman or Akshar-Brahman, or what is known as Akshar-Dham, see this word Akshar-Dham is even a more evolved word than Akshar-Brahman only. इसका मीनिंग क्या है कि अक्षरधाम में अक्षरधाम ही रहते हैं. जो पुरुषोत्तम भगवान है वो तो अक्षर ब्रह्म से भी पर है, as per the Gita. Advaita Vedanta stops at Akshara Brahma. That's what we're talking about almost on a regular basis. And there is a dimension beyond that, or the Parabrahma Tattva is Bhagavan Purushottam Swayam, as per the Gita also. Bhagavan, this chapter 15 is called Purushottama Yoga. Chapter 8 is called Akshar-Brahman Yoga. Tasmat Sharamati-toham Aksharaadapi Chottama Atosmi Loke Vedecha Pratitaha Purushottamaha. Very clear, it's right there. But Shankaracharya ji didn't make that distinction. He put it into Advait. Otherwise, you wind up in Vishishta Advait. Again, I don't want to go into that right now. But the point is that Brahma ka, Akshara Brahma ka greatness is like this. And it is uncreated. It is the dham. It is the abode of God. Bhagwan ka ghar hai wo. Jaise hamare, how we're staying in our home. Let's say you're staying in a, $1 billion home, right? Yeah, beaches are there and swimming pools are there and massive rooms and 100 rooms and mansion and $1 billion home. So wo kya hai? You are not the home, you're living in the home. ठीक है? उसको धाम कहते. Dham meaning the place of residence. So that's why Brahman is also called Brahma Mohol in Gujarati. Mohol means palace. It's an analogy, a term that is used. Brahma Mohol it is called. तो वचनामृत में ये सब शब्द आते हैं. तो वचनामृत की जो लेवल है, that is at such a level, all this basics, what we're talking about here in daily satsang is actually the base to understand the vachanamrut tattva jnana. And all the other acharyas also. But that base is itself so much beyond. We cannot even, see this one line even, the causal nexus that governs the created realm. My goodness. It's independent. The ontological independence from the causal nexus. Sarva, whatever is happening, cause and effect. Cosmically, up to our lives. From the individual, Pind or Brahmand. And actually the Atma Tattva is itself ontologically independent from the causal nexus. Brahman to hai. But hum bhi swayam usse bahar hai. We don't realize that. That is the Maya. That is that the Jivatma is rolling around in. We are also independent from that causal nexus. We are Atma Tattva. But that same Atma Tattva is called Jeev when it is bound inside the causal nexus. That is the difference. Jeev takes bodies upon, it experiences bodies upon bodies upon bodies. इसको वेदांत में अन्वय स्वरूप कहते हैं जीव का, प्रथम 7 वचनामृत. And इसका व्यतिरेक स्वरूप भी है. व्यतिरेक meaning that when you realize, the Atma, then there is no birth, death, there is no entrapment in the causal nexus. It is one with the Brahman directly right there and then. So the experience of the life and death and the Brahmand that are coming and going. Kitne Brahmand aate, kitne Brahmand jate. We cannot imagine even there how many Brahmandas are there, how many universes. Even the word universe is not the right word for Brahmand. Brahmand, the universe se bhi bahut is much. It's a multi-layered, multi-dimensional, multi-dimensional. Let's just say universe. I mean, I don't know what else to call it exactly. But it's the word universe. We think about these galaxies, and this is what we're calling universe. The word Brahmand is beyond all of that. There's 14 lokas in each Brahmand. And there are, how many Brahmand are there? Infinite number of Brahmand are there. So that is all the causal nexus. It comes and goes. They come and they go. But their time spans are enormous. Enormous time spans. And those time spans have been recorded in the Sanatana Dharma. Also, yes, so Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, they come from something called Virat Purush, Virat Narayan. They're part of the Virat Narayan, another being. These are extraordinary discoveries which we cannot imagine. The only way to tap into that, कि भगवान के साथ जब अखंड वृत्ति होती है, unbroken connection, by the grace of God, if the devotee wants, Bhagavan can reveal these tattvas. Yes, but we have to get out of the psychological binding that is there. That वो कोई नहीं निकल सकता इसमें से. But if you break out of it, because of absolute saintliness, साधुता ही एक master की है, that will allow for all this to open up. Then wherever you are, there is constant alokik bhav. You live in the world, but there is this different reality. The actual reality is present, not this fabricated reality that we are stuck in. ये मेरा है, ये तेरा है, this small things. One awakens completely out of that. That is an awakened being. That is the Buddha. That is the one who is no longer stuck inside the realm of Prakriti at all. Not at all. You see, so that such a person is a Jivan Mukta. Such a person is a liberated being. Such a person, such an individual is living in the world, but is not touched by any of the binding power of Maya. Maya, on the other hand, is completely functioning to help the individual towards moksha and to help that individual uplift the sansar. Maya is never the problem. Maya it changes its function completely. It is Mahashakti. The Mahashakti, with her binding power, she now functions as the liberating power. That is why we do Devi Upasana. Devi ki Upasana ke bhakti ka meaning hi ye hai. It changes the direction eventually. Maya ka bandhan nahi rehta. Maya, the power that is there inside Maya, it now serves the great saints to do their work towards the highest of realizations. Lakshmi ji mara santani dasi re. Lakshmi ji becomes the sevika of the great saints. They are always in seva bhav, but all of the gods and goddesses and everything that we talk about, वो सब सेवा में आ जाते. ऐसे संत की सेवा में आ जाते. जो बड़े संत है, उनको तो अहंकार का प्रश्न ही नहीं है. They're not living inside any kind of ego. The whole universe, the whole creation, everything is at their feet. सर्व संत सर्वथि मोटा संत जगत ना आधार. गरुड़ प्रथम 27 वचनामृत. ऐसी अद्भुत स्थिति है. हमारी भी स्थिति, we can also reach that, but there's a lot of inner development for that. That's not a joke. You know, it's ऐसी बड़ी like आनंदमयी माँ, you can look up her videos. कितने बड़े संत हो गए सनातन धर्म में, आज भी है. They are nothing. They are living in a world that they're living with that saintliness that is absolute saintliness. And without that that param sadhuta, this extraordinary reality of Brahman, it cannot be discovered. वो open ही नहीं होगा door. That door can never be opened. You have that pre-qualification has to be there. Prerequisites are not. How can somebody sit into that postdoctoral class in mathematics knowing only algebra 1? You can sit there, you will not know anything what is going on. You say, okay, go from here. Or you yourself will walk out. Nobody has to even throw you out. The professor says, you can sit here. So, क्या चल रहा है कुछ भी मालूम नहीं. How is possible? There has to be prerequisite. You have to be ready to realize that. And readiness it's a different matter. Even to take a fault with even one person throws this all off. Just think about this. हमारे मन में दिवस में कितने fault आते हैं. But somebody did this, somebody said this thing happened. भूल जा ब्रह्म विद्या. क्या ब्रह्म विद्या? किसकी ब्रह्म विद्या? Clean up this mind first. I'm telling myself, not telling anybody else. छोड़ दो सब बात. Clean up this mind. If you want to see God is not something you can purchase by giving donations to temples or other places. It's not some kind of a business. करो donation दिएगे तो पुण्य मिलेगा. But it's not to be bought. It's not some business transaction. That's fine. Do all those things. There's nothing wrong. It has to do with cleaning up our life. And साधुता नहीं आती जीवन में. किसके पास साधुता है? बताओ एक भी व्यक्ति किसके पास पूर्ण साधुता है? You will not find it anywhere. Hardly. These are the real diamonds upon diamonds, extraordinary beings. जिसको पूर्ण साधु कहते हैं. Even there are so many people taking diksha in all the traditions. इसमें से भी कितने, who has reached that absolute sadhuta, saintliness? कितनी डिफिकल्ट बात है. दुर्लभम, इट इज एक्सट्रीमली. द महापुरुष शंकराचार्य जी विवेक चूड़ामणि, we said this श्लोक 1000 times. दुर्लभम त्रयमय वेत देवानुग्रह हेतुकम मनुष्यत्वम मुमुक्षुत्वम महापुरुष संश्रय. महापुरुष कौन है? महापुरुष का दर्शन भी होना कितना दुर्लभ है, शंकराचार्य जी कहते हैं. It is more rare than human body, more rare than mumukshutvam even. It is the rarest of all, that is to find the most enlightened saint. और उनका आश्रय लेना इससे बड़ी कोई बात नहीं है. इसीलिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट बात, इसीलिए भगवान शंकर को गुरु बनाना. He take care of everything. He'll guide all the way through. Be very careful about guru का चक्कर. I mentioned it before. But anyway, these are the points to keep in mind. This is to reach that sthiti. Saintly sadhuta, purna sadhuta, that is the only way. Without that, there is a blockage. Blockage ही होता है. ऐसी सब अद्भुत बात है. ठीक है, चलो, we'll continue on this further tomorrow. ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. ओम गंगणपते नमः. ओम दिव्यलिंगाय नमः. ऊर्ध्वलिंगाय नमः. आनंदलिंगाय नमः. द्वादश ज्योतिर्लिंगाय नमो नमः. ओम ऐं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुण्डायै विच्चे सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते. या देवी सर्वभूतेषु महालक्ष्मी रूपेण संस्थिता. नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः. ओम श्री राधा कृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु. ओम दुर्गे दुर्गे रक्षिणी ठ ठ स्वाहा. ओम ह्रीं स्वाहा.